Hello and welcome to Clear Waters, your channel. Having some technical difficulties there with the camera. There you go. Hello, tonight we're going to be talking about the big problem with God's free will. Barely hear myself. That's better. Yeah, there's a problem with God's free will that I'm going to explain it to you in a way that is understandable, in a way that makes sense, and in a way that puts you in a predicament with this God of the Bible. But first, just allow me to check my audio on the vertical stream and on the horizontal. Perfect. And also the link for the Discord for anybody that wants to call in and push back on what I'm going to say and what I'm going to present here with the problem of God's free will. Because there's a problem with God's free will. I want to explain it to you. Oh, if you allow me just one moment, there's something wrong with my microphone. Hello? Yes. Okay, for anybody that wants to call in and ask me questions or tell me why I'm wrong about what I'm going to present, you can call me at the Discord link at the bottom of the screen. If you don't have Discord, you can just click on the link and you can install for free Discord. And you get right to my Discord. We can have a conversation. You don't have to show your face. It's just a voice conversation. Some people scare me. I don't know if they're watching football. People start screaming in the other buildings. Yes, welcome Phantom X. Hey, I don't know if it's okay with you, but there is a similar streamer to you that is having a Venezuela fundraiser stream tomorrow. I would like to promote the stream if that's okay. Yes, of course, Phantom X, by all means. I have no problems. Rainbow Shangri-La sent Sparkle to you. Thank you, Rainbow. How are you? Are you doing well? I'm going to be doing a little presentation here about the problem with God's free will. There's something that doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. And it's not that I don't understand it. I think I understand it very well. And I can understand that there's contradictions. And there are some problems with this supposed God's free will. I don't know if you can read the image. It says, make the wrong choice and you are toast. Those are the choices. So why do people say that God gives free will? I think most likely it's a lack of understanding. I think probably has to do with some ignorance about how these things work, in my opinion. You know, I'm ignorant in a lot of things, but I'm not ignorant when it comes to understanding free will, and when it comes from God's free will. I think it's quite understandable that there's a problem with this supposed free will. We're gonna just wait 2 minutes here. I'm gonna do this presentation. I'm gonna take you step by step on what is the problem with God's free will, and that would explain why there are some believers on the live streams that I do. They that they try to explain to other non-believers how God's free will works. And at the end, nobody understands it. I think people understand that there's contradictions. There are things that don't make sense. And I'm gonna take it apart so you can understand it, that this supposed free will is problematic. Phantom X, the channel is Philosopher, and he usually streams about 9 or 10 a.m. on Saturdays and goes for 4 or 5 hours. If anyone wants me to notify them when the stream starts, pin me in the Discord. Right, Philosopher. I'm gonna check his channel. Probably subscribe. Let me write it down, Philosopher. Philosopher. Okay. Apparently he's not showing his face. All right. So let's jump into this presentation about God's supposed free will and what is the problem. I'm gonna show you here first. Let's take it apart. Let's take the music down so we can do this presentation, okay? All right, let's start with number 1. In God's free choice, make the wrong choice, you will be punished. What for? What for you're gonna be punished? I'm not gonna get into this one so much because I think the other ones will probably help you to make sense from the first one. So second one, the second problem with God's free will. If you make the wrong choice, you'll be punished. If you make no choice, you still will be punished. You're like, what? What do you mean? If I make no choice? Yes. No choice for God is a choice. And you will be punished. And number 3, what's wrong with God's free will? Eternal punishment. Or one wrong choice. You're going to be forever punished. In other words, there's no opportunity for you to learn any lessons. You're gone. You're toast. Out of here. So, what will be the purpose of punishing you eternally for making the wrong choice or for making no choice? It makes absolutely no sense. Seems that this God is presenting something, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a God. Probably some man wrote this and they make a really shitty job doing this work of explaining this free will. I know that a lot of believers bring up Adam and Eve choice, that was the first time, God offered free choice. But we're being punished for someone else's choice, which doesn't make sense at all. Probably if I was there and I was presented with those choices, I would have taken the choice of not eating the apple, but I was not offered that choice. And I'm being punished for someone else's choice, which I don't think is very just. It doesn't seem that this is coming from a just God. And of course, the biggest, humongous problem with God's free will is that God is all-knowing. Yep, this is a problem that I have tried to explain to believers. This is a problem because this present, I don't know what's the correct word for it, for this, a contradiction. God gave you 2 choices, but he already knows what's going to be your choice. because God is all knowing. And besides that, make it even more complicated, He's not bound by time. He, he already knows your choice. He already knows the result of your choices before you were born. So what are these choices for when he already knows what you're going to choose? He already know what you're going to go through or what you went through after you made that choice, because he can see the past, the present, and the future. He knew already before you were born what you were going to choose. So you might be asking yourself, Javier, I never thought of that way. So why is the judgment for? If he already knows before the judgment. I know you're starting to get it. There's a problem here. God all-knowing and giving free will doesn't make sense. I have heard some people saying, no, Javier, you don't understand. God gives free will because he loves you. Okay, I'm waiting for the explanation. Oh, he loves me. I have to accept that God is giving me free will. In other words, God comes to you in the form of Jesus and he tells you, believe or they are going to beat the shit out of you. And remember, you have free will. It is your choice. Choose my love or you know what's going to happen to you. Right? Right? You know, I like to laugh because I don't take this stuff too seriously. I think this whole thing is made up. But the part that I don't laugh about is that this stuff, this crappy information creates a lot of problems for humanity that I'm trying to, I don't know, probably naively to bring awareness to this problematic of believing in gods, which is, it comes from ignorance. And people are very happy to keep you as ignorant, as much ignorance as possible for the longest time possible. No person in power would want for everybody to be in power. So let's have these gods available so people's critical thinking is shut down. Instead of paying attention to their surroundings, they are paying attention to some invisible god in some external galaxy or something like that, some other dimension. I think that whoever came up with this plan, I mean, it did a really, really good job of keeping people stupid as long as possible. You know, imagine there's a God up there watching us. They're gonna judge us to see if you're righteous, if you love him. No. So for anybody that wants to tell me, Javier, you're wrong, you don't understand God, those are the mysteries of God, you cannot even try with your mundane mind to understand how God works. If you even dare to tell me that, I will tell you, I think the problem is that you're being ignorant and you're very happy with that choice that you're making of keeping yourself lacking information, lacking understanding, because some people say in ignorance there's bliss. And I remember what's it called, that movie Matrix. In ignorance there's bliss. So for me, in my point of view, with God, it is impossible for anybody to have free will when he already knows what are your choices. But Javier, you don't know. God might know. So you don't know. So God wants to see what's going to be your choice. But I just told you that God already knows. What I'm going to stop for to choose something that God already knows what I'm going to choose. He already sees me in hell or in heaven. This makes absolutely no sense. I think that most likely you're still trying to explain it away, because you can, as a believer, you cannot allow anybody to attempt to be honest with you, explaining this God supposed free will. You will not accept it. Your feelings are in the middle, and you will not want to expose yourself emotionally to anybody, not even if that someone is presenting information in an honest, transparent way. You're not interested. So going back to these options, to these problems with God's free will, make the wrong choice, you're going to be punished. What? I mean, God presents the options, and if you choose one of those options that God is giving you, He's going to punish you because He's testing you. What for? He already knows what's the results of your test. This, I don't know, in my point of view, it crosses that line of being idiotic. You know, even for someone to try to explain this, I don't know. I might be missing something. I don't know, maybe I don't understand something. Which I don't think so, because it has been so many times believers trying to explain this away. And when I ask questions, that switch takes place. They go to preaching mode. I mean, you don't understand because God is love. Jesus is my savior. That's what you understand. You don't have the Holy Spirit in you. So we go into the esoteric, and that's how they escape these discussions about this silliness of a God that is testing you, trying to see if you're righteous or not, to try to see if you're loving or not, if you're making the right choices or not. This is a God, seems to me, that has no job. He's absolutely out of any job. And the only thing that entertains this God is to see if your test results, if you're going to be loving to Him or not, if you're going to choose Him or not. So in eternal punishment, I don't know, it seems to me a little bit too harsh for stealing gum or for telling a lie. And Adam and Eve, thank you very much for ruining people's lives because you couldn't control yourself. You had the free will at that time, and now I don't have free will to choose the apple or not. I'm being punished for that. So by all means, this God's supposed free will does not work. I think it's a humongous lie that believers tell themselves about free will. And the normal question is, Javier, but you have free will right now. Look at yourself. You're talking on a microphone and a camera. You have free will to do that. Yeah, because no God. I have free will. The problem is God's free will, in my point of view. Oh, God all-knowing, I have heard some crazy stuff that God limits His knowledge in order so He doesn't know your choices. Yep, as ridiculous as that sound, some believers explain it that way, that God limits His powers. He throttles back. With the throttle back, He limits His power of knowledge. He limits Himself in a timely way, so He can not know the results of your choices, so He can judge you. It seems to me that God made Himself a playground, and He can use us as toys for His entertainment. I need some humans to judge. When I'm making very microscopic, I have to talk to them under a microphone, a God microscope, because they are so tiny compared to God that I have to look at them through a microscope. And I'm going to judge them, and I'm going to send them to a place that I built for them. Some people say He built it for the devil. And He's like, you know what? This works very well to send people to hell. Yeah, eternal punishment, man. I'm the God of the universe, man. I'm so smart, you see? I made the hell for the devil, but it works wonders for humans. And by the way, the hell that I made for the devil the devil is not there. The devil is on earth, reigning here, giving all kinds of problems to humans. So yeah, definitely this God's free will is a problem. And I think we, as human beings that are trying to move ourselves into a place of more honesty and more transparency and more decency, we should speak up about these problems, because we have to get ourselves out of these ignorance states that we are right now, with this ridiculous information about a God that is testing us and gonna judge us. Today I watched a video that it showed up on my YouTube feed. I don't know if I can show it, because I keep getting flagged sometimes, and I have to erase some of the videos. I think it was in yesterday's live stream. We were talking about teaching about God in schools, religion, teaching about Jesus, teaching about God's love. There's a video that I was watching talking about in Texas. They are putting mandatory, apparently, that public schools have Bible readings, especially the Ten Commandments. This will be going back in time, and in my point of view, try to attempt to continue to have children follow other doctrines, create people that depend on salaries and depend on invisible gods that live in outside of time and space. So there's still people that want to keep people ignorant for more time. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think as long as we have people talking about these topics, seeing the problematic of God and exposing this information, I think that we can save people from these doctrines, dangerous doctrines, problematic doctrines of believing in gods. So that's my little presentation. And remember, Jesus has a message for you. Believe, or they're going to take care of you. And remember, you have free will. It's your choice. So if you choose me, you're going to be fine. If you don't choose me, my love, you're going to have a little accident. Yep. Some guys can come and take care of you. I don't know. I think it would be better for you to love me, because that way you'll be reminded that you have free will. Remember. Oh, let's go to the chats. And for anybody that wants to call in, this is the moment to call. And correct me if you want, if you think that I'm wrong about God's supposed free will and the problematic with God's free will and the problematic of believing in God, which is a problem for humanity because it attempts to keep humans ignorant for a long time. We're working on that. All right. So let's read some of these messages. Where are we? Here. There you go. Sir Charles Oliver, welcome. Second fun. Phantom X, no, he doesn't show his face. I get the feeling that it might not be good for him to publicly out himself as an atheist where he lives. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Tekken fan writes, in the visual presented for the stream, I figure is forced to choose between A or B. If a creator already knows which path an individual will take, is the choice a legitimate exercise of agency? Or is it merely an illusion designed to facilitate a specific outcome? It seems to me, Tekken fan, that this is an illusion of choices because there's only one choice. And God is seeing in the future the results of that choice. If you choose something else, that would mean that the future has to change. And that would imply that what God was seeing in the future was wrong. So to me, yeah, it seems to be an illusion. Of course, if there's a God. Phantom X, free will is just an attempt by humans to explain the experience of not knowing a future outcome and then discovering it. And the experience of not knowing a future outcome and then discovering it. Rainbow Shangri-La, and the things that we women are supposed to suffer with because of Eve. I did not eat that apple. Why do I have to suffer so much every single month? Sorry if my TMI. Yeah, Rainbow, I agree. Where's the choice for us? Supposedly, you know, if someone else made the choice and we're paying for it. That doesn't sound like very fair. Tekken fan, for one wrong choice, you might ask, how can a system that demands eternal consequences for a single finite action be reconciled with the concept of a just moral framework? Tekken fan, in other words, the whole thing about God and the morals and the free will is really screw up. Really screw up. I think only a distorted mind or someone that depends on the belief in God, they're gonna sacrifice any honesty, any transparency just to hang emotionally by the God. It makes sense, you know. Quantum X. Actually, I think I can rationalize that at least. You see God is timeless. So he's experiencing his entire existence constantly. So what seems like a single event to you and me is eternally happening to God. Yeah, so God is seeing everything at the same time. He's seeing our choices. He's seeing the results of our choices. He's seeing us already in hell or heaven. Charles Oliver, the only being under the Tromney model with free will is the deity. Antomex, nah, the God has the least amount of free will. A timeless God cannot change state. So he's stuck in time, in other words. He is in one corner. Besides that, Phantom X, you know, God is timeless outside of space of time. What was he doing before he created the universe? Was he in a box, in a corner, floating in nothingness? This thing can get dark and complicated very fast. Charles Oliver, I agree, it's nonsense. You know, I know that people don't agree when I say that you cannot be an honest human being and believe in a God. But, you know, every time I have a conversation, or most of the time when I have a conversation with someone about this topic, they will turn into very dishonest practices in order to get away with the God, getting away with the God being loving and real, and the usual preaching. I don't know, it seems to me dishonest. Second Fund writes, you could ask, if a deity is truly timeless and immutable, cannot change state, does that make the deity a prisoner of his own nature, effectively lacking the freedom to have chosen a different creation? Tekken fan, I think that's also in reference to what I said about, you know, God being timeless outside of space and time. Where is he when there's no universe and no humanity? What is he doing? Is he inside a box? Very tiny box? Is he in darkness? What is he doing? What has he been doing for eternity? I know that's just a silly question. There are so many questions that I suspect we're not gonna get the answers, or at least reasonable answers from any person that believes in a God. I think it's fun to get in these conversations, but I don't think we're gonna get anywhere. Blue Phoenix ID, welcome to the live stream. Blue Phoenix writes, free will doesn't work like that. Free will isn't about changing reality. Free will is about how you accept the reality that happens. What in the world did you just say? I'm gonna repeat it slowly because I'm gonna make an honest attempt to understand what you just wrote. Blue Phoenix ID writes, free will doesn't work like that. Free will isn't about changing reality. Free will is about how you accept the reality that happens. I'm sorry for laughing. That sounds like a cliche or something like that. And you probably rephrase this. You know, I don't know. Maybe I don't have the Holy Spirit. I don't have no idea what you're talking about. Phantom X writes, exactly, you cannot escape that conclusion if God is timeless. To make a choice would be a contradiction because God cannot choose to do not A if God has already done A. I'm so glad that people understand it. I'm not the only one that see a humongous problem with God's free will. It makes no sense. It's a contradiction. Charles Oliver writes, just another mind in a vat like the rest of us. And Tom X, and is going to do A and is doing A because timeless. Yes, it's not like stopping and choosing and then continuing. No. If the choice is A, the choice A has been forever A. There's nothing else. I'm sorry for laughing, but man, it comes naturally, you know. Tekken fan, you could push the debate by asking if both human free will and divine free will are essentially trapped by the rules of the system, ours by potential punishment and the deity by its own nature. It is this entire framework just a description of a clockwork universe where no one, not even the creator, is truly free. And I had to read that again. From Tekken fan, you could push the debate by asking if both human free will and divine free will are essentially trapped by the rules of the system, ours by potential punishment and the deities by its own nature. Is this entire framework just a description of a clockwork universe where no one, not even the creator, is truly free? Wow. Phantom X, it is if you think about it too much, but theists live in cognitive dissonance if they do that. So they don't think about it. Charles Oliver, putting themselves in others' shoes and looking at different perspectives is not a general theist strong point. That probably explains why most believers don't ask questions. They jump into preaching and telling you what the truth is. Charles Oliver, Clearwater's Phantom X asked you a question in the comment before you started reading. Let me go back. Yeah, he asked me about the promoting. I said yes, if you're referring to that. Yeah, thank you, Phantom X, for clarifying. Yes, I did answer and I say it was okay. Okay, of course. Perfectly okay. Thank you, Charles Oliver, for the reminder and the clarification. Phantom X, don't ask me to explain what a timeless experience is like. I don't think that is a thing that can happen and can just think through the implications. Mr. Dragon Karakzik, welcome. Charles Oliver, Phantom X, same information overload would be my problem. Yeah, imagine yourself seeing everything at the same time. I don't think that would be fun. Phantom X, right? I mean, I don't know what it would mean to have a temporal experience. I can only think in terms of this happened, then that happened. Sequential. Okay, Mr. Blue Phoenix ID writes, do you think your hobby is your choice? Do you think your favorite food is your choice? Nope. You are just a small part of this world that receives influence from the whole system. So what are you saying, Blue Phoenix idea? I have to read your message like 3 times. What are you saying? That there's no free will or there is free will? Can you please clarify that? Because what you're saying seems to me that you have come to that conclusion, which in some way I agree, but it doesn't explain God's free will in my point of view. Just in case, Blue Phoenix ID, if you want to move to the vertical, there's more people on the vertical stream. Carlos Oliver, not only the things happening, but all possible happenings. You know, Sometimes I feel that probably I'm pushing too much, talking about the emotional aspect of believing in God. But it seems to me that even if that is not the solution to this problem of believing in God's, I think it's worth it to take the conversation that way, to dig more about something that takes us outside or takes the conversation outside of the gods. Like people get into these debates in the sense of talking from the Bible, the Bible says and stuff like that, or Jesus did or didn't do. I think it would be better to take the conversation to the believer, not the God. And I noticed then, at least on these live streams, when I ask or having a conversation with someone that believes in God, and I start asking about their feelings, they get uncomfortable or they try to avoid. For example, I ask them, how do you feel about God? They will say things like, well, I feel like my duty, or, some crazy stuff, when they know that I'm asking about their feelings and they don't want to get in that conversation. I think consciously some people know where that conversation could probably lead to, and people don't want to get in that conversation. So I think really debates should take the conversation to the believer and not to the God. Mr. Tech and Fan at Blue Phoenix, if our preferences for food or hobbies are predetermined by external environment influences, is there any aspect of human behavior that can truly be categorized as an autonomous choice? Or is the sensation of choosing merely a biological response to systemic conditioning? Wow. Extremely good question. Thank you, Tekken Fan, for challenging this information that Blue Phoenix ID probably right now he's trying to come up with something else. Maybe he's saying like, man, why did I write that? Now how can I explain it? Phantom X writes, I implied this earlier, but I think the experience of choice is only epistemic. We do not know what we are going to do and therefore see multiple possible options, then choose one and find out what we did. But I don't think there was ever the possibility that we were going to choose the other options. But that change in epistemic knowledge feels like something voli, volitional, volitional. So it seems to me, Phantom X, that what you're saying is that we have this illusion of choice. Wow, that makes me think. That makes me think. Imagine that we have no choices. That whatever choice we're taking was already chosen a long time ago. Sounds a little bit scary, like everything predetermined. So many questions. It is sad that people explain things away that they don't understand with God. Wouldn't you agree that this keep people dumb? There's so many questions, so many answers that I don't know, gotta find out about. Blue Phoenix ID Proof that you can choose in your life. 70% of your life is determined by your DNA. The rest is injected by your social environment. Phantom X responds exactly. It's an illusion because we don't know what we're going to do. Then we find out what we did. You know, from what Blue Phoenix ID and Phantom X and, Charles Oliver is saying, well, Charles Oliver is writing, do I smell? Everyone jump over here. Everyone jump over here. I can leave. You know, I have the choice right now to display one finger or two fingers. If I display one finger, it's not going to be the middle finger, okay? Let's do a little experiment. I'm going to show one finger. When I count to three, I'm going to show one finger, or I'm going to show two fingers. The question is going to be, does God know if I'm going to show one finger or two fingers? I don't even know right now what I'm going to show. I'm trying to think which one. So is that choice already chosen? And I'm just going to experience what I already chose some other time? Two? So many questions. So many questions. Wow. Let me read some of these messages. So Phantom X writes, it's kind of like the idea of you picking a number between 1 and 1,000. To me, because I don't know what you chose, it seems like it could be any of the numbers, but in reality, it is only the one you chose. Let me think on that one, Phantom X. I don't know. Second fan at Blue Phoenix. Proof that their own skepticism isn't also a byproduct of their specific DNA and social environment. If everything is determined, is their argument against free will also just a systemic reaction? Oh, this is getting interesting. Second fan continues. Then, even if 70% of life is determined by DNA and the rest by social environment, that 30% social influence is often composed of contradictory inputs. Ask them if the social environment is a chaotic mix of conflicting influences. Does the choice of which influence to prioritize or reject provide the necessary space for individual agency to exist? Okay, Blue Phoenix ID response. Ask yourself, why is it so hard for you to change what you want to change? Ask yourself why you are not as smart as Einstein, not as great as Messi. Blue Phoenix ID, I think you're coming up with something that most people know. I cannot choose to run as fast as Usain Bolt, or I cannot choose to play like Messi. It's going to be extremely difficult. I think that we know. Phantom X, gotta go hang out with friends. Thank you, Phantom X, for stopping by on a Friday night. I know most people right now probably are hanging out or going out. That's understandable. Blue Phoenix ID, social environment doesn't run while something designs it. What do you suspect is designing it? God? It seems to me uh the Tapua Roberts, welcome to the live stream. We blame God, not ourselves. You know, I don't know who's blaming God. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that this God free will doesn't make sense. If you were not here for the presentation at the beginning, this is some of the problems that this supposed free will from God present. Mr. Tekken fan writes, Blue Phoenix ID, you are conflating capacity, intelligence, athletic ability with agency, the ability to make choices within one's limitations. You might ask, does having a limited range of potential, like not being Einstein, negate the ability to make meaningful choices within that range, or is free will actually defined by how we navigate the limits we are born with? Wow, Tekken fan, you're inspired tonight. Everything you write makes a lot of sense, and the questions, I like them. Tapua Roberts writes, it's an excuse to keep messing up. I don't know what you mean by that, Tapua Roberts. What is the excuse? Sounds most likely that you're gonna start preaching. Well, because God is love and He loves us and He gives us free choice. So God gives us choices, and if we take one of those choices, He punishes us. That makes a lot of sense. To me, the Tapua Roberts, we are mortals. What does us being mortals have to do with God's free will being a problem? I don't know what does us being mortals have to do with me understanding that God's free will is a problem. Tapua Roberts right, I'm indigenous. We warn everyone. I don't know what you're trying to say, but it doesn't sound like it makes much sense. If you make the wrong choice, you get punished. If you make no choice, you still get punished. And the punishment is eternal. So this is not like learning any lessons or anything. It's just pure punishment, pure pain, pure separation, pure fire. There's nothing to learn. There's no opportunities. One chance, you took the wrong choice. You said that lie. You stole those pack of gums. You're gonna burn in eternity. Besides that, Adam and Eve took a choice that we're paying for today. We didn't have that choice. So that's not fair. And we're being blamed because of someone else's choice. And of course, the biggest of all the problems, that God is all knowing. How can that be? Where's the free choice if God already knows our choices? But of course, I could be wrong. Some believer could probably also explain it to me. Javier, you don't understand because we are mortals, like Tepetua Robert says. Or is that an excuse to keep messing up? That makes absolutely no sense to me. So, I could be wrong about this problem of God's free will, that in my view, there's no free will. You can explain it to me. You can do it either by chat or by calling in at the Discord link at the bottom of the screen, or on the chats on the vertical or horizontal. Mr. Crypto Lee, hello. Hey, Crypto, after I finished the live stream last night, I remember you said something about Ninja Trader. Was wondering if Ninja Trader charges for trades. So I think Tepatua Roberts at least tried to, in his own way, to explain God's free will in a way that to me doesn't make sense whatsoever. I think if God's free will was, it makes sense and it was easy to understand, anybody, believer or non-believer, could understand it. But it seems to me that only believers can understand it because they really don't understand it, but it feels good. So that probably explains why someone that is not attached emotionally to the God definitely cannot understand it, because they are not attached emotionally to the God. So God gives you two choices. Choose A or choose B. But be careful. Make the wrong choice and you're toast for eternity for taking the wrong choice. That is the message for you from your loving God that gives you free will to choose to love Him or be bitten by His thoughts because He loves you. Believe and love me, or you could have a little accent. Remember, you have free will. It is your choice. Let me see. Blue Phoenix ID. Life is like watching a movie. There's nothing you can change. You can only choose how you accept each scene. So I take it, Blue Phoenix ID, that you don't believe that you have free will. Is that what you're saying? Just to see if I understand your message clearly. Cryptolly, yes, but very fair. Choose A or B. Take your choice. You take no choice, you're still gonna be punished for not taking a choice or not choosing. Either way, you're most likely probably going to lose this salvation game. Pick the wrong choice, one-way ticket to hell. That doesn't sound very loving to me. That doesn't make sense to me either. But it could be me. Maybe I'm just not understanding it. Maybe I don't have the Holy Spirit with me. I don't know. Probably it's the holy emotional spirit that has to be in me in order to be attached to the God, in order to understand it, or probably just to accept it without understanding it. Which I think most believers, that's what they do. They don't understand it. It doesn't make sense, but they don't care because the God feels good. It takes you out of that negative emotional state that you find yourself when you don't have a God in your life. And now you have the God in your life and you're able to move to a positive feel state. Second fan writes that blue, does that internal acceptance count as a choice, or is that acceptance also just another scene in the script that I was always going to play out? To me, sounds like a choice, to be fair. Mr. Brent A, welcome to the live stream. We're talking about how God cannot be omniscient and have free will. Yeah, we're talking about the many contradictions. I'm going to put up the list on the screen of some of the problems that I see with God's free will. You know, take the wrong choice, you'll be punished. Make no choice, you're still going to be punished. That punishment, of course, is eternal. For what? For taking a wrong choice? A lot of believers like to say that free will started with Adam and Eve. I think it's unfair that they took a choice that we're paying for today. Of course, I'm talking if the God is real. Charles Oliver at Blue, that's how life feels with or without a deity. I still don't understand what's Blue Phoenix ID position. It sounds to me like he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in free choice. Free will, I'm sorry. Brent writes, God can be all-knowing and have free will if the B theory of time is true. What is the B theory of time? Because if God already knows the future because he's not bound by time and he's all-knowing, he already knows our choices. He already knows what we chose. He already knows what's the result of his judgment. He already knows if we're in heaven or hell. He's not bound by time. Cryptolead writes, do you feel guilt if you do something wrong towards another? It depends. If I do something that is beneficial for that other person, no, I don't feel guilt. Blue Phoenix, you have no choice. Whatever finger you point, you are just reacting to my predicted words. You don't even do it freely. You don't do it suddenly. So I'll take it that you are not a believer in God. You don't believe in free will, Blue Phoenix ID. That's, I'm saying that it seems to me that an illusion that we're taking choices. Brent A writes, yeah, humans wouldn't have free will, but God could. I think that, Brent, in order for God to take a choice, when he's not bound by time and he's all knowing, what choice can he take that he doesn't know which choice he's going to choose? How is that even possible? Probably I'm wrong in my thinking. Charles Oliver writes, Clearwater's Brent is talking about God's free will, not ours, I think. Yeah, but it's still, I don't understand how God would operate under free will. What choices can he take when he's not bound by time and he's all knowing? How does that work? I think in order to take a choice about something, you don't know what are the results of the choices. In order to have choices, you need time to think about the choices. God is all knowing and he's not bound by time. What are these choices that he could have free will? Brent 8 writes, Clearwaters, he can choose to pick a different timeline. So he has, in effect, free will even though he knows all outcomes. He will not be able to know which timeline he would choose though. So for that case, then that he's not all knowing, right? Second fan writes, if you believe that a block universe model where past, present, and future coexist renders their own argument meaningless, since their prediction will also be a fixed part of the static structure. Cryptally, just some say if you have guilt feelings after breaking a moral law, then you have the spirit within you. Crypto, that sounds like, someone's opinion or their belief. To me. Friend Day, I suppose. Clearwaters, it comes down to the dimensionality of God. If God is truly outside time, then choice fails to make sense. I agree, Brent A. Even the, let me read your message. Brent A writes, I guess if you're outside of time, all knowing may cease to mean anything. I don't know. Just trying to steal man, the argument against God is not all knowing. Guys, I think this topic, this conversation has so many holes, so many questions, so many unanswered questions. I think that even God doesn't seem to have free will. It seems to me that he's stuck somewhere. I don't know. To me, most of the stuff doesn't make sense at all. Not our free will, not God's free will. How is that even possible? It's like, I remember, I think it was Diva that says that God throttles down his intelligence, limits his knowledge. How is that even possible? And what for? Toya West, welcome to the live stream. Clearwaters has some good ideas and fun concepts, but bad presentation. I don't know how to help, but wishing the best for you. Thank you, Toya West. Definitely bad presentation, bad accent. I'm not good with cameras, lights, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So even this live streams are successful or not, I had to take it out of my system, do them, and continue with my life. I don't like to stay in one place and don't do nothing. I gotta create things, come up with things, move forward, learn, ask questions, explore, expand, discover. And this is one of those things. Cryptoly, well, it is good to know you have no remorse. Cryptoly, if I do something, that probably I did it from a source of being fearful about something or insecure, and the result of my action makes me feel in a way that put me in a negative feel state, yeah, probably I'm gonna feel bad. Oh yeah, Wes, every life is an opportunity for improvement. Yeah, how can you improve a believer's life when they think that they hold the truth and everything is explained away with a God. What happens to us when we die? God. Where we come from? God. Why this happened? God. Rente, Cryptoly, that's not what I said. I asked if you ever feel guilt and never got an answer. Charles Oliver, Clearwater's practice makes better, if not perfect. Thank you, Charles Oliver. I have improved over time. It just happens, that I try to do so many things. Fill up my schedule with work, keep my mind busy. Like I said before, probably, I don't know, tonight probably is my last live stream, or maybe next week, I don't know. I don't put myself in a corner. I like to do these things for now. If there's money into it, welcome. If not, I would like to put this information out there. Just because I think that there are way too many people BSing everybody out there with channels. I'm trying to do, instead of complaining about it, I'm trying to push the other way. Try to encourage honesty, transparency, and decency instead of explaining everything away with a God. Toya West, did you become an atheist or was always an atheist? Toya West, I don't know if you're asking that question to me. Try to put my username next to your question or your comment if you don't want me to miss it. But in case you're asking me if I'm an atheist or how long I've been an atheist, I don't consider myself an atheist. Oh, the great Hersey 98. Welcome. Message retracted. What did you say, Hersey 98? What did you say? Dragon Karaxi, we were all born atheist. Oh, Hersey 98. Hey, Clearwaters. Hersey 98. How are you? Hello. Oh, yeah, West. True, but some of us were indoctrinated very early. Oh, I know what you mean. I know. Oh, I'm trying to encourage conversations about these topics instead of just close our minds and explain everything away with the label that is God. I like to have conversations about these topics. Makes me think, makes me appreciate other people's opinions and views. Maybe I can test myself. Probably I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, West. Oh, really? Not an atheist? Then what are you, Clearwaters? I'm a YouTuber. I'm just a person trying to have fun, doing something different. If I can make money through the process, that'll be awesome. But I'm trying to understand what I'm doing here on Earth, where I come from, where I'm going to after I die. I don't feel good living life in ignorance. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. So I'm someone that see that there's a probability that a God exists. I just don't understand it or lack the knowledge. I really doubt that is the God of the Bible. Hopefully it's not, because in my point of view, it's too violent. But yeah. Sometimes I'm like, man, Javier, do you think that it will be a good idea to find out about everything? Do you think you can handle the truth? I don't know. I go back to the same thing that I said before. I don't feel good living life in ignorance. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Cryptoly at Brand, I'm a believer. Cryptoly also writes, I have the Holy Spirit convict me. Hopefully I answer your question respectfully. At Brent. Oh, Cryptoly is a believer. Dragon Caraxi, through their influence of others. I think that someone that believes in God most likely were persuaded by someone else in a moment of pain, in a moment of negative feel state. That's the best moment to introduce a God to someone. Because when that change takes place from a negative feel state into a positive one, you can make a good impression in that mind of the person in order for them to get them to believe in a God. Mr. David Martinez, free will goes against God's divine plan. I agree, David Martinez. Imagine if someone in that Jesus crucifixion had a change of heart and he decided to stop the killing of Jesus. He would have interrupted God's plans. He would have ruined God's plans. I agree with you, David Martinez. Ursay 98, did Adam and Eve have the choice to eat from the forbidden tree? Probably yes, probably no. Hersey 98, the problem with Adam and Eve's choices is that their choice is affecting us. So what choice do we have in that action that they took? We're paying the price for someone else's actions, which I don't think is very fair. Dragon Caraxi, looks like they didn't have choice as God put three snakes to bait them. The whole story is like God put in, the beautiful garden and put a tree with a snake and an apple right there in front of them. Don't eat from this apple. Don't eat this apple right here. Yes, the red one, big one, juicy one. Don't eat it. This one, this one. I think like anything else with God, God needed for Adam and Eve to eat that apple. If Adam and Eve didn't eat that apple, it would have ruined God's plans. It would have been just Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. That's it. God is like, that's it. This is gonna be my life. Looking at these two playing around in the garden. No punishment. No having fun, sending people to hell. Let's put a tree with a snake and an apple in there, man, to make this thing a little bit more fun. Ursay 98 writes, but he clearly told them, dragon, not to eat from that tree. They chose to disobey. Ursay 98, I think there's people like me that they like to step out of the situation and, try to ask questions like, what would God do that for? What would have happened if Adam and Eve didn't eat the apple? All those questions. This is what happens when someone doesn't surrender their conscience, to God, because they just accept the story like it is without question the story. I don't think it's honest. I think you can be an honest person and say, you know what, I don't understand it. I would like to understand it. I would like to ask questions. Dragon Caraxid, he says, don't eat or you will die, but they didn't know what is death and he just left. You see, Hersey 98 people has questions. Hersey 98, did your parents discipline you when you misbehave? Yes, they did, but none of them sent me to eternal fire. I don't think God's punishment cannot be defined as discipline anyone. That seems to me more like brutality. Oh yeah, Wes, Clearwaters, do you think Jesus would have good dance moves? What do you mean? Like break dance? That is like, I have a miracle for you right here. Right here. I don't know. You know, even if Jesus was real or not, maybe he was. I don't know. I think it would be interesting to meet the guy, you know. Like, what are you talking about, man? That you're God. Can you do the little trick of walking on water? Can you do that? I can see it. Can you do the moonwalk on water? I can see it. I'll be impressed. I'll be like, man, I think this is God. But let me check one moment. Let me bring a mirror just to make sure you're not a vampire or something like that, you know, that you're deceiving me. Charles Oliver, the apple is the star of the show. Without it, where would the story go? Yep. That red, big, juicy apple. God is like, it's right here. This apple, this red and juicy apple, don't eat it. Here, this apple. Even and Eve, they were like, that apple looks very juicy. Dragon Caraxid, moonwalk on water. Maybe that, I would see that thing, I'll be like, man, that looks kind of cool, man. How do you do that? Can you show me that move, like moonwalk on water? Can I do that too? Do I have to repent from my sins and accept you in order for me to walk on water? Oh, the great Escodesh. Hey, Javier, love you, brother. Praying you have a beautiful night. Thank you. Same for you, Escodesh, man. I hope everything is well with your challenge and your thing that you're doing. Man, that is to be respected. I see your videos. I see your videos. I follow you. David Martinez, Chulum is mentioned on many atheist streams. He's gaining a following. Uh-oh. Oh, man. I know some people are asking me, who is this Chulum? I happy tell them, man, Chulum is the creator of the universe. The one and only, the real one. Thank you, David Martinez, for sharing that. As in right now, I'm putting out shorts every day from a video that I did about Chulum. So I guess probably more and more people are going to be talking about Chulum. This YouTuber guy, Clearwater, say that there's a God that doesn't do any violence? Is that can even be possible? Possible? A God that doesn't have sacrifices, no blood, no demons? That sounds like a fake God, because I would think that a God will make you pay the price if you mock him. No, with Chulum. Escodesh. But a man, brother. Yes, went to the White House the other day. Gay pride parade last Sunday. Logged and hugged dozens of LGBTQ. Been having a lot of fun. I saw a little bit of that video that you did on the LGBTQ parade. A little bit crazy, if you ask me. You're a brave person, man. You're a brave person to get into that parade. Mr. Otto Babylon writes, if you were to close your eyes and picture a red apple, how are you seeing the apple without your physical eyes? The one who sees when your eyes are closed is the real you. Okay, let me try it. Hold on. And if I try to see an apple with my eyes closed, I see the apple. When I open the fridge, I see the apple in there with the sticker, and I see the wax. I'm like, man, the sticky wax that they put on this apple, man. I don't like it. Man, you have to wash those apples and get that wax. Get it out. Get it out. Don't eat that. I don't know where that wax is coming from. Escodesh, yeah, but I love people, so it was great. Lots of very kind people. Until you say something, Escodesh, that can make someone uncomfortable, and they will let you have it. But I know. There's people that need a hug. Need someone to listen to them. Escodesh also writes, lots of Christians groups selling hellfire. So I got lots of hugs from showing love. Lots of Christians group selling hellfire. I guess they were opposed to the parade, I guess. You know, I don't like, Escodesh, I don't like the month Pride. I don't celebrate it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It should be probably the day or maybe the hours celebration, not a month. And I look forward for that month to be taken down. I don't celebrate it. Escodes, I have tons of gay and trans friends, so I don't feel most would mind what I say. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's respectable. Escodes is asking, oh, are you judging like God? No, Escodes, I don't judge. I think that LGBTQ or trans people, I think this is something that we have to talk about, because I think that there's probably something that is causing for more and more people to have these behaviors and act in these ways. Yeah, I totally agree that we have to have these conversations, not just try to normalize what it seems to me like a problem, like we did with God. Normalize a problem. I don't want to do the same mistake again. Escodes, many are damaged from childhood. I absolutely agree. And there are ways to untraumatize a person, not just celebrate their trauma as something to be celebrated. Yeah, I think we can still love people and also talk about what seems to me that is a problem. There's going to be people that are born that way, and I've seen it myself. Man, you can see a kid, a girl that has 3 years old and is not interested in playing with dolls or anything like that. You can see the way the child walks or behaves, that something you know doesn't look right. So doesn't look like it's coming to be a woman. But there are many cases when that is not the case. It's something that in most cases could be a trauma, an abuse, or maybe group pressure. I think those ought to be talked about and analyzed. Escodes rise, no, it is a problem for sure. It's much different than the 90s. I think there's more and more and more people. I don't know if the correct word is acting in these ways. I think there's something affecting people chemically. But that's another subject that we can talk about. I'm still thinking about doing a live stream talking about LGBTQ and all the rest of the letters. So out of Babylon, I try to imagine the apple, but I don't feel like, that's something apart from myself. Cryptally, it's a fruit of knowledge, to be clear. So it's not a real apple? Is that what you're saying, Cryptally? We're not talking about a real apple? So it seems to me what you're saying is that God didn't want Adam and Eve to have more knowledge. Just stay dumb, walking around in the garden. Don't try to be smart. Of course, Oliver, were they going to gain knowledge through life experience if they hadn't eaten it? It seems to me that God was supposing for Adam and Eve to be smart, to have knowledge. God is like, you're gonna be in this garden as dumb as you can be. Just walk around, play with the animal toys. But don't be asking questions. Don't be trying to be smart. It seems like the same thing today. Read the book. Don't be trying to be smart. Don't be asking questions. Accept everything the book says. Oh, do we have a caller? No way, Mr. TXDAP. Hold on. Let me give you permission. Hold on. You have protection now.
Yes, sir. I'm not a troublemaker. I just came in here to encourage you.
Hold on, TXDAP, because people cannot hear you. Hold on.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, go ahead, TXDAP. How are you?
All right, sir. I just came in to encourage you. I heard that you might not do these live events anymore.
It all depends. I don't see myself doing this for years, so I'm just doing this for now. I don't know if I'm gonna do it for one more day, one more week, one more month. I'm not sure. Why? What are you saying? Are you gonna miss me?
Yeah, we're gonna miss you. You're like a little stable in our household. Yeah, we don't have your picture on the table yet or nothing, but yeah, we got you. You're part of our family a little bit. So yeah, we will miss you, of course.
That's very kind of you, TXApp. I know that we don't agree, but I think that we appreciate ourselves, because we can have conversations like adults, even when we disagree.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm 66, so I know you're like 56, aren't you, or 50 something?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
54.
We can act like adults now, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not too fond to be fighting, for opinions or views and stuff like that. I prefer to have conversations now.
Yes, sir. I was telling my wife earlier about Americans. We have so much stuff. I've been to Belize, Central America, and different parts of Mexico, and I mean, Americans just have too much stuff. I had a friend that came from Belize, Central America, and he lived in America. And he says, "Yeah," he said, "Americans, we have too much stuff." I said, "It's true," and then they want more stuff. It don't make sense. I think America's really got too much. They're spoiled in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yes. First of all, did you see the flag on the background of the live stream? You guys notice it?
No,
I put it a
no.
little bit lighter because it was too dark. But there's a American flag on the bottom of the as the background on the live stream because of celebration of USA
Yes, sir. Yes, I love my
independence.
country, but every country has its faults. There's good and bad in every country.
You know, I have to be so thankful from the country that I live right now, Panama. My all my family's from here. I was born in the States, and
Mhm.
man, all the people that I have interacted with in the States for all the years that I was living in the States, man, I was extremely lucky because every people that I work with, interacted with were beautiful people, even my bosses
Yes,
and
sir.
stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Me too. I worked in the printing business. I think I might have told you from 1985 all the way to 2022, and my boss was they were good people. I wouldn't have stayed with them if they didn't treat me right. So
What
yes,
kind of
sir. I had a
business?
screen printing. I was in the screen printing business. We did a lot of different things. Like the first one was just real estate signs. That's all we did was just screen print these signs where they sell their houses. Like Century 21 and a Remax and all these different national signs. And for 5 years I worked there. And then I started working for another company, and they did all kinds of stuff. They printed on banners and T-shirts and jackets and all kinds of things, computer parts, and it was interesting. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Cool, awesome. Are you doing investing in the stock market now?
Oh no, sir! I never got rich doing it. I just got by, but I don't mind. I'm not the one to try to be rich. I'm happy with what I got. I'm not trying to be the next millionaire or nothing. Bill Gates or uh, you know Zuckerberg or nothing. I'm just happy with who I am. I don't have to have a lot.
Man, I'm in one of my projects is to be a multimillionaire. I'm probably
Yes, sir.
I'm being naive, but I want my freedom. I'm too stuck in life. I have made too many mistakes with my money, and it's not until my when I turned like 50 when I started to understand the importance of having money.
Yes,
Because
sir.
when you don't have money, in my case, I'm extremely limited, and I don't want to have that anymore. So I'm doing different things in order to have, not necessarily, I try not to focus on the money or millionaire or billionaire. I just want the freedom. I want to be more with my family, be able to have to go to different places, stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to achieve.
Yes, sir. Well, hope you get it. You're a very nice person. You're very pleasant. You're not rude and crude like we met this other person had a live stream and they call themselves the preacher and they were be cussing and smoking and telling you off and it's like whoa. So you're nothing like him. You're
But
you're you're like him. Yes, sir.
but a preacher, what? And a preacher, like believer in God and
Yes,
causing.
he calls himself the preacher. And he just cusses left and right. He's sitting there smoking and drinking and just being way out there and calling everybody a sinner and they're going to hell and he was not very very nice at all. So
There,
I don't follow him no more.
yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's some believers that I don't know if they're trolling or what, but they get like this upset face and they start, like offending people right and left. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Probably something to attract people, or they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. But there's a bunch of people doing that right now.
So they call them trolls. We get them in our server too. Yeah, they come in and they troll. And we were attacked. I mean, not too long ago for months on end about. I think it was something my wife might have said, and people were trolled us for some long time. They took our names and put them in other servers and said we were like this or we were like that, and it was just terrible.
Hmm. I don't know if you if you know about this, but I think it was at the beginning of this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, that for the first time the my Discord was bombarded while live streaming. A bunch
Yes,
of, I think it was kids that tried to shut it down or something like that.
yes, sir. I remember. I was on. I was listening to you, and I think it was your friend.
Phantom
Uh,
X.
yeah, Phantom X told you about it. Hey, you gotta do something. These people are gonna get you shut down. They're playing music in your server, and yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He gave me the heads up, and that gave me the chance to start blocking people and muting people, because if they didn't warn me, probably they would have taken advantage of that, and my live stream would have been shut down, probably. I don't know.
Yes, sir. But I'm glad it didn't happen. You caught it in time. That's what it's like. Have people that can look out for each other, and that's what it's supposed to be like. I was thinking you asked a question a while back about if a Christian went to earthquake to help the survivors, and if the survivor didn't want to become a Christian or whatever. And I, that's just, a person needs help. It doesn't matter if they're a Christian or not. They need help. I'd be there. I'd be helping them. I wouldn't be asking them. I'd be like, "You need help? Here I am." You know?
You're talking about one live stream that I was asking someone, giving a scenario of needing help and
Yes.
they're
Yes.
negating Jesus, stuff like something like that. I remember.
Yes, sir. In Venezuela, you used it as an example. And that was sad. Yeah, I was praying that there people go help the people, the ones that could do it,
That
because
was
that's what we're
a
supposed to.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that was a question that I was brought up just as an example. I made it up. There was no people asking these questions. I think there's all the people that are helping in the earthquakes in Venezuela. Man, the stories. I Today I had to slow it down and try not to watch so many videos because every time I watch a video about a kid or something, my eyes start watering. It's way
Yes.
too painful.
Yes, sir. I know it. I know it. I know it. I helped my boss. I never told you this, but I worked there, like I said, I worked at my one job 29 years. And I came in one day on a Friday and his truck was there and his keys were there by the coffee pot and everything, but I didn't see him nowhere. So we had a saw room outside. It was a shipping container that we made into where they would cut metal up and cut wood up and all that. And so I didn't see him in there either, but it was open. So I said, well, let me go fire up my T-shirt equipment and get ready to start printing some T-shirts. And I said, let me look one more time. As I was going out to come back and look, I heard a saw go zing like that. And I went out there and he had cut his throat. Oh yeah, he
Oh
cut his
man.
own throat. Yes. And I caught him right there, and I just started praying. I called 911, and they saved his life. I mean, he was in ICU for like 5 weeks, but man, it was just something. It's just you talking about being at the right place at the right time. I believe that
Wow.
may have been divine intervention. Yes, sir. And I still talk
Wow.
with him, still friends. Yes, sir.
So you basically saved his life.
I did, and I wasn't planning on it, and then I was just going to work, But that's how I am. I would help people if I see somebody need help. I would help them. I wouldn't worry about if they're what nation they are or what religion they are, if they're Muslim or nothing. They need help. I believe we're here to help one another.
Man, I really hope you know my stance what it is, the exam. I think you know by now, but I in that case, a specific case, I really hope that that person, your boss or friend, thank you and not only God about you helping him in that
He did.
specific moment.
Yes, sir. He did. He did. We went to visit him in the hospital in ICU and went to visit him at his house as he was recovering. And man, I tell you, he was thankful. Him and his wife, they were very thankful, and they appreciate me. I worked with them for 29 years, so we were like family. Yes, sir.
Wow, that is an awesome story. I'm so happy for you and for that person. You must feel very good for doing that.
Yeah, I
Wow,
went I went through something though behind that. Behind that, I went through some like nightmares and stuff for a while.
you got PTSD?
I think I might have got it from that a little bit, but I got over it. You know what I'm saying? But at first, it was like, wow, it was like a shock. You went through it and you did it, but then you realize later on as you go visit him in the hospital, this really happened. It's not you dreaming. You were there. You saw it. And yeah, that it takes you through something.
It kind of brings you like a when you get a bucket of ice water, brings you to reality in a
Yes.
very, very, very sharp way.
Yes, sir. It did. And then their family was asked. Well, at first the lady at the job was like, "Well, just say he cut himself as an accident." I said, "I can't say he did it as an accident. They want me to lie. I can't do that." So the police actually came and they took pictures and they did all the like a little investigation. So finally, when he
Wow.
got out and he could speak again, because he couldn't speak for a while, he said, "Yeah, he did it." And he used the angle grinder. You know what an angle grinder is?
Yes, I this is like a wood shop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And that's what he used to do it. And I was like, wow.
The
I couldn't
angle,
believe
the
it.
you said the
Angle.
angle grinder?
Yes, it's like they use it like when they do welding on the metal, like on the metal on the frames. That like if you make a big metal sign, they
Hmm.
weld it, and then the weld is kind of bumpy, so they use the angle grinder to kind of smooth it down. It smooths down that aluminum like nothing.
But
And so you,
that's a portable tool, right?
yes, sir, it's a
Yeah.
hand tool you use. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Wow. Must have
Yeah.
hurt.
It was I couldn't believe in my own self, and I saw it, and I still couldn't believe it. And even his brother said, "Get in the car," because he was a policeman. He goes, "Let's go for a ride." So I got in his truck. We went for a ride. He goes, "Tell me what happened." I told him just what I had, what I seen, what happened. He said, "Okay, I'm glad you told me because I wanted to know the truth."
Man,
So yes,
that person might have been in a very desperate situation at that moment to try to take himself out that way in a painful way.
yes, sir. And I remember the night before we were just talking, and we said, "David, you never make no mistakes." I said, "Yes, I do. What do you mean I don't make no mistakes?" He's like, "Yeah, but you don't make no mistakes, like big mistakes." I said, "Yes, I do. Don't say that. I lost a whole family before. My first wife and my kids, they all left me, and I went through a lot behind that. But I hung in
Wow.
there. And so, but he was acting like I never make no mistakes, like I was perfect. I was not. I said, "No, I'm not. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes," I told him. But I didn't
Wow.
realize what he might have been going through, in his mind with everything that was going on in his shop and with his family. And, you know,
You never find
you
out
just,
what caused him to do that?
yes, sir, I did. That the building that they were renting, they wanted them to redo the roof on it. And then for some reason, they had a clause in their rental agreement, and that was going to cost like $40,000 just to redo the roof. And then it wasn't. We didn't. We used to make. They used to make good money, but then a lot of it started closing down. A lot of shops weren't buying the screen printing stuff. They were buying their own printers and printing their own things. And so we used to do a lot of stuff for like IBM, Texas Instruments, a lot of big companies, Michael Dell, and all that. But as the shops they started growing, they started getting their own print shops. They
Mm.
had their own printers and they would do print their own stuff. So we wouldn't get to do it no more. And so they were making real good money. They actually had them on in the newspaper about how much as a family business how well they were doing at one time.
So a lot of competition started to compete with
Yes,
the
sir.
business.
Yes, sir. Take away the business from us. They started doing their own printing. We had a printer, and then a lot of other shops just decided to buy a digital printer and they can print their own stuff. And still to this day, you can go down to like a corner store, well, not a corner store, but like a print shop on the corner, and you can get stuff printed up, and it's real reasonable. No, it def- because it's advanced so much, it made the cost go down a whole lot.
Mm, of course. And now with
Now
AI,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we're talking about the ones and the zeros, how that's like supersonic knowledge, all this that we're seeing on the screens and all this knowledge that we have on computers. It's just zeros and ones, binary.
I work with this every single day, and I'm still amazed about
Yes,
what you say about zero ones. Everything that we're looking on the screen, everything that we're having a conversation right now is pretty much just zeros and ones.
yes,
It's
sir. Yeah,
magic.
yeah. You can't understand that. That's way over my head. Shh.
And now that these computers, they call them quantum computers, are coming out.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be absolutely crazy. The stuff that we're gonna be able to do with those computers. I don't
Yes,
know.
sir. I
I'm looking
seen.
forward to guard my hand on one of those computers.
Yes, sir. I seen one interview and they asked that guy who has a SpaceX and all that.
Elon Musk.
That Yeah, Elon Musk. They asked him what he was scared of, and he said AI scared him. I was like, oh no, he's into that. That's kind of scary. Then he's scared of it. How much
I
more than just the average person?
Yeah, I think that he's seen where this AI thing is going to, the capabilities.
Hmm.
And when I say about the quantum computers combining AI with quantum computers, that's gonna be like the next level of AI.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supersonic again. That's it's way above my head. I can't understand it.
I, I
Yes,
I
sir.
think I think that the most interesting is gonna be when these AIs are gonna be successfully passed to robots and like dolls and stuff like that that people are doing. Like
Mhm.
it will be like pretty much like humans coming alive, in my view.
Yes. Yes, sir. Like that old movie, I don't know if you remember from like the 70s called Westworld, where it was like a make-believe world and they had all these robots and you could go and like if you were in the Western world, you could shoot the robots and take care of them and they wouldn't shoot back. But then the robots, they started shooting back at the end because they started, like they started learning, like from all they went through, they were robots, yeah, but they had like a learning curve in them and they learned that, I'm not going to get shot no more. I'm going to shoot back. I don't know if you ever saw
West
that movie. It was a good movie. Yeah, Westworld.
with this actor
It was bald-headed guy, Yul Brenner. I don't know if you remember him.
yeah, I'm looking it up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never seen this movie. A
Yeah.
robot malfunction creates havoc and terror for unsuspecting vacationers.
Right. It was like a
Mm,
vacation, man. Yes, sir. They had the robots where you could be with a woman. They had robots if you wanted to fight like a Roman gladiator or whatever. And they had the robots like in the Western world. You go in the bar and you want to have a gunslinger and you could shoot them. And the robots, they would take them out and repair them. The next day they'd be back, but at the end the robots were like, "We're not having it no more." Started fighting back.
I'm gonna leave the window open. I like this type of movies. I like old Western movies. I like movies from 70s. I like black and white movies. So
Right.
I think this is a good choice.
That was a good movie. It's a lot different than what you might think. So I liked it too. At the end, I won't tell you the end. It's a good movie
Ah,
though.
don't ruin it.
No, I won't. I won't.
You're
But
gonna
anyways,
give me a spoiler.
yes, I just want to come in and let you know, hey, we appreciate you. You don't have to leave us. Don't. I think it's gonna grow. I think your server's gonna grow.
That's very kind of you, TX. That appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
All right. You have a good night, Javier.
You too. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye bye.
Oh, that was TX Dab. We always have discussions, tense discussions, but this is proof that we can have tense discussions, heated discussions, and still be adults and have conversations. Thank you so much, TX Dab, for that call. You made my night. Thank you so much. I'm gonna leave that window open. I'm gonna watch that movie, and I will remember your recommendation. Thank you so much. Oh, let's read some of these messages. Escodes was telling me. Well, I think the messages went too far. Far back. That's what I mean. So, Javier Soto. Cryptolee, see clear waters. Do you have the Holy Spirit within you? Cryptolee, I don't think so. I got some energy that I don't know what it is. I would like to understand this energy that we all of us have inside of us. I don't understand it. I don't like to define it as the Holy Spirit because I don't learn anything from that. I would like to understand what in the world I'm doing here in this world. Where do I come from? What I'm gonna happen to me when I die? I would like to understand these things. By just defining it as a Holy Spirit, man, I think that I stopped growing, understanding. It feels good, like trading feel good, for understanding and knowledge. All right, feel good. Okay, drop the understanding and knowledge. Dustin King. Prayer plus paramedics can save a life. Prayer plus $8 can get you a latte. I suspect Dustin King that only probably prayer and paramedics can save your life, or only paramedics, but only prayer, I don't think so. I don't know. I pray my own way, you know. I'm not a believer, but there's something out there. Javier Soto of Out of Babylon, I laughed out loud after I read the dumb should you commented. Sometimes I don't understand very much the questions from Out of Babylon. So Out of Babylon writes, meets people like you think the truth is dumb. What you're experiencing is biblical as well as all men being saved. Now again, if you close your eyes and picture an apple, with what eyes are you using to see the apple with? It's me. The great old boys on the live stream. Say 98 Clearwaters, have you discovered that when we make good choices, good things happen? But when we make negative consequences, bad things happen? You know, her say 98, most of my bad decisions in life have come from a negative feel state, or more precise, from fear. Yeah, most of the time, the results of my choices are not good. I've noticed that. Kodesh, prayer got me my health back this week. No more heat sickness and brain damage better. Processing power pack. Probably a prayer and a little bit more hydration. I don't know. Adding a little bit of salt on your water. Salt, sea salt. I do that every morning. I like to drink water with salt. Man, I really, really like it. I feel hydrated in the morning. Hersey is clarifying by choices. I understand. I understand your questions. And again, yeah. Choices based on fear, normally in my case, not very good results. Mr. Dragon Karatsik, why you pray if God knows when and about what you're gonna pray? I like that Dragon Karaxi asks these questions that are common sense. I like it. I like it. You know, question everything. Not because Dragon is trying to be a pain in the butt, you know. I think he likes to understand things also. So I think it's fair to ask questions. Kodesh, Dragon, because I like having a deep personal relationship. Huh? I was hydrating for 2 years, Javier. Oh, okay, okay. Awesome. Yeah, that salt, sea salt on the water, and sometimes put a little bit of lemon. I like it. Dragon Karaxi relationship, even though he never replied. Escodes says, God spoken to me since I was 5, Dragon. Fasting help. Answering him. Verse 98, right, because Dragon wants us, you mean Dragon, I guess, wants us to communicate with him. When you have a friend to build that relationship, you interact with them, right? I don't know why you guys are talking about a dragon. Probably I missed that conversation. Escodesh, lemon is amazing in water. Escodesh, that cold water with salt and a bit of lemon. I don't know. For me, it's like the perfect hydration. I've been doing this for 16 years, drinking water with salt. Escodesh, sorry for the typos, Javier. I type fast and no spell check. I understand, no worries. Verse 98, God wants us to interact with him. What for? Verse 98, what for? Dragon Caraxi is you hear voices in your head. There are mats for it. Mats. Night we're only doing 3 hours, 3 hours, so 55 minutes, and we are finishing this live stream. So this conversation on the horizontal, Javier Soto writes, Eutyphro's dilemma proves God has no free will when it comes to morality, or morality is arbitrary. When I see physical objects, neurons goes off, and it does that, and it is does that go off when you imagine the apple. That's basic neuroscience, bro. Out of Babylon, this isn't hard question. Why? What eyes are we using to set the apple of our eyes are closed? I don't know. Out of Babylon, there's something about the brain. I think one live stream we gotta do some experiments, don't you guys think? I have done a long time ago. I did some videos where I did some tests with water and salt, like conducting electricity and turning some lights. Man, that was awesome. I think I don't know if in this channel. Yes, I think those videos are available. I don't remember. You can do some tests to see if we can find out if God is real or not, or if there's something that we can understand by running some live tests. Javier Soto, when I see physical objects, neurons go off, and it is thus. Wow. Javier Soto, have a hard time reading your messages because of the typos. Is that go off when you imagine the apple? That's basic neuroscience. Okay. Dustin King, the frontal lobes of our brains. It seems that we come with a software. We come with a BS software, predetermined software, and we have another software that can be programmed as we grow older. Mr. Viking Lloyd, there is no free will in a society based on reward punishment. You have to do something for its own sake, not because of some reward of punishment. Interesting. Dustin King, if the conscious is not made from the body, how does consciousness work? Viking Lloyd, it works because we are it. We are aware we are not alone. If the universe was full of life, there will be no consciousness. Interesting. Loneliness breeds consciousness. Interesting, Viking Lloyd. Interesting. Hersey 98, in order to grow in our faith, we need to communicate by reading our Bible, praying, etc. Hersey 98, I think I have a problem. I have to admit it. I like to understand things. I don't like to do things, at least not many things, based on my emotions. So if we're supposed to communicate with God through the Bible and read the Bible, I start asking myself, what for? What does God want a relationship with us, and what for? There's so many questions, so many questions. Probably that's my problem. I like to understand everything as much as possible. All right, Dragon Karaxi writes, auditory hallucinations are sensory perceptions of hearing sounds, noises, or voices in the absence of any external auditory stimulus. They are associated with psychopathic disorders like schizophrenia. Interesting. Eskodesh, Adonai, nice. ChatGPT, Dragon. I understand. I have an associate in psychology. Who do you guys keep referring to someone as Dragon? I don't understand it. Who's Dragon? Or are you talking about Dragon? Hersey 98, the Bible has so many answers. What does the Bible say about epigenetics? What does the Bible say about Andromeda? What does the Bible say about the spike protein? What does the Bible say about the immune system? What does I can continue doing this all night. Verse 98, the Bible is like a roadmap to a traveler. I respect that, Hersey 98. I don't see it that way. Even when I have my own Bible and I was reading my own Bible during the nights, I don't see it that way anymore. Any attempts for anybody else to try to tell you how to live your life, I think it's a mistake. They're not walking your shoes. They don't know your ups and downs. Oh, okay. So we're talking about dragon, not dragon. Dragon. Escodes, what does the Bible say about cows mewing? Yes, I agree. It doesn't say anything about that, I guess. It says some stuff about donkeys and some talking burning bushes. Viking Lloyd, loneliness breeds consciousness. Is that probably why God decided to make humanity and the universe? Maybe he was lonely and he needed something else to experience love. Is that what you think that happened? Rainbow Shangri-La. There is so much bad stuff in Bible though. It makes me mad and sad. Yeah, I think that is why Rainbow Shangri-La, I would not give a Bible to a kid. Definitely rated 18 plus, Viking Lloyd. I agree with you. The Bible should be rated 18 plus. PG 18. Viking Lloyd writes also, not every word in the Bible is of God. Yeah, talking about donkeys and burning bushes. Fucking burning bushes. Viking Lloyd writes, the truth is in the Bible, buried beneath a mountain of lies and half truth. Is up to you to distinguish the difference. The truth is a treasure hunt. Dustin King, if the Bible is a roadmap, you are gonna spend 40 years wandering in a desert that should take 2 weeks to cross. You know, I was watching a short video from a movie about Jesus, and that part that I watched, like 2 minutes, Jesus was with all the apostles and suddenly Jesus disappeared in that exact moment after he has been resurrected. And then all the apostles start talking to themselves like, what did Jesus want us to do next? We're confused. Imagine being right beside Jesus, being with Jesus, walking with Jesus, and you are confused. Imagine people 2026 years later that we didn't know Jesus, how confused we can be. Rusty tinfoil hat. Oh, we have another life found upon earth. What do you mean by that, Rusty? Rainbow Shangri-La. I hate how the Bible shows such disrespected ducks. Ducks are the most wonderful creatures on earth with their loyal and unconditional love. My service dogs. Dog is my life. Wow, so lucky you. You have a dog. Out of Babylon, you must rightly divide the word of truth. Rusty writes, how did 350 million cubic miles of water appear on a rotating sphere world inside a vacuum that would boil any H2O before it could even rain upon it? And why is the moon not wet? Rusty, so many questions, man. So many questions, I know. You have to engage more in these conversations. Find the real truth. Rainbow writes, it's meant to say, I hate how the Bible disrespects ducks. Viking Lloyd, biblical fact. The Bible was 40% degraded when they found it in a pile of its own dust. Interesting. Rainbow writes, ducks and cats are one of the few things that made me believe in a beautiful, kind, wonderful creator. Then I read the Bible and everything came down, crash and burn. Rusty tinfoil hat writes, you see, there's just this slight inconsistency when the tides of your seas. Last time I looked, I saw the sun and the moon cross exactly the same size. How does one mass work and the other not? Rusty has a lot of questions. Cryptolee is trying to respond to Rusty, other life. Viking Lloyd, they just filled in the blanks, and that's a fact. Rainbow Shangri-La, I do love how Islam honors cats, but I'm disgusted by their thoughts on dogs, even worse in Quran than Bible. Yes, problematic. Rusty Tinfoil Hat says that Jesus already returned? What do you mean by that? Jesus is coming in 400,000 years. Dustin King is asking out of Babylon, what's make-believe? Evolution? Like in Lloyd writes, technically Jesus already returned. If he returned again, it would be for a third time. Out of Babylon, evolution as thought. Yes, but the whole globe spinning thing is complete psy-op. Crash played out on the world to deceive us. Wow. Out of Babylon. A conversation between Dragon Karaksik and Esh Kodesh reminds me of a caller that called in last week, I think it was. He said that, I mean, he said openly and very like a fact that he could speak with Jesus. Oh man, I remember that night. I think it's been the first time in all the live streams that I have done that I get a bit upset. I don't like people coming to the live stream and attempt to scam people and lie to some levels that are gross. Obviously, he could not speak with anyone. That was absolutely crazy. Everybody in the live stream were like, what? Even believers were like, what? You can speak with Jesus? You must have the cure for cancer, right? Because you ask him that question to Jesus. The guy's like, no, I never asked him that. That I got a little bit upset. I'm like, man, I started saying things like, you're a phony. You're fake. Oh, man. I thought it was hilarious, but I think Dragon Karaxi that when Esh Kodesh says that he can hear Jesus' voice is something that is like illustrative. It's not, like hearing his voice, It's something that is supposed to be something inspiring, It's not really hearing Jesus' voice, I think. Eskodesh, it's okay. You can call me a phony, fake, and gross. Eskodesh, I'm not talking about you. I was talking about some caller that called. I think it was last week, and the guy was saying that he can talk to Jesus back and forth like a conversation, and he could do it on the live stream. And supposedly we would ask him a question, he will ask Jesus a question, and he will respond back. It was like a circus act. I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about you. Rainbow Shangri-La, Jehovah's Witness say he returned on 1914, but that it was spiritual, not physical, and they said this to cover up their false prediction of Armageddon in 1914. Rainbow writes to Viking Lloyd, my two cats and my dog definitely rule my world. Dustin King writes, I don't know what merry-go-rounds have to do with evolution. Viking Lloyd, evolution is natural selection. Rainbow Shangri-La, Carousel by Melanie Martinez is one of my favorite songs. Viking Lloyd, evolution is the tale of the underdog when prey becomes the predator. Eskodesh, I think if you would have been here that day that the caller was saying that he can communicate with Jesus like openly, like an open line, I think you would have been upset. Her saying it 98, so dramatic. LOL, clear waters. What about the caller? Her saying 98, were you here in that live stream that day when the guy said that he could speak with Jesus back and forth? That was hilarious. I remember, it makes me laugh. Man, what was that guy thinking? I felt for a moment that, man, I think this guy's, I don't know, something's wrong. I'm glad Dragon Karaxid is having fun. Kodesh, Adonai, Javier. I was joking, but when I was a child, yes, I didn't have a more personal relationship, but never heard an audible voice ever. It's more like the wisest voice you could ever imagine. I know that's how most people describe it. Something that they feel, something that they hear internally in their mind, or something like that. It's not like an audible voice. Hersey 98, who is the preterist? Oh, Hersey 98, you're coming with sophisticated words. I have to look what a preterist is. Maybe I learn a thing or two. Preterism is a Christian theological view that interprets biblical prophecies regarding the end times eschatology as events that have already been fulfilled in the past, primarily during the destruction of the Jewish temple in 70 AD. Oh, Hersey 98, I learned something new. Preterism, a Christian theological view that interprets biblical prophecies regarding the end times as events that have already been fulfilled in the past. Who is the preterist in here, Clearwaters? The person who said Jesus already came back in 70 AD. I wouldn't know who is the preterist. I don't know. The prettiest, yes, is me. I'm sorry, bad joke on a Friday night. Verse 98, the person who said Jesus already came back. Yeah, there's, I think it was, that was Rainbow Shangri-La saying that Jehovah's Witnesses say Jesus returned in 1914. Rainbow Shangri-La, I still need to find and watch that live stream. I'm trying to catch up all the ones I missed in the beginning. Rainbow, you know, sometimes I don't watch the videos back, but I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like Wednesday or something like that, or maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I lose track of time. But that was hilarious. That was hilarious. I got really upset because he was talking about cancer. Oh man, oh, no. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was funny and horrible at the same time. You know, like a soap opera. It has everything, you know, drama, fun. Let's go. That's not me. Jesus coming when people take the microchips can buy or sell. Say 98. Oh no, clear waters. LOL. Dragon Karaxi, those are good jokes. Thank you, Dragon. Escodesh, don't take the microchips mark with 666 on the barcodes. Cancer is horrible. I watched my grandpa die slowly. Man, it's a horrible, horrible sickness. But I think humanity is making improvements. Dustin King, how much? We have 30 minutes more, 30 more minutes. And we're done with the live stream for tonight, and then enjoy our weekend. I hope all of you are having a great, awesome Friday night. Dustin King, I can talk to Jesus, but he doesn't talk back. I think he wholly ghosted me. We gotta make this guy call again so you can have a connection with Jesus and he can communicate with Jesus for you. But be ready, man, because you're gonna get the craziest answers. You had to be sitting down. Viking Lloyd, no one speaks to Jesus except through me. My ancestor Caligula was Jesus, childhood friend, and later his lord and executioner. Wow. Complicated novella, complicated soap opera. Rainbow Shangri-La, yep, look it up. They still preach that today. And you know, that happens when you introduce invisible gods to societies. You rupture the society into two groups, the believers and not believers. And then the believers will continue to divide and subdivide. Rainbow Shangri-La, real life soap opera. Man, yeah, definitely. Cryptolee Clearwaters, look up Flavius Josephus' writings. I'll be happy to. Flavius Josephus' writings. Let's see what goodies is waiting for us. Flavius Josephus was a first century Roman Jewish historian whose Greek writings provide crucial non-biblical records of Jewish history, the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 CE, and early Christianity. The Jewish War, a 7-book account tracing the history of the Jewish people from the Maccabean revolt to the Roman destruction of the Second Temple, and the fall of Masada. Antiquities of the Jews, a massive 20-book history translating the biblical narrative from the creation of the world to the outbreak of the Great Revolt. It is famous for containing the controversial testimony Flavianum, the oldest non-Christian written reference to Jesus. Interesting. I don't remember hearing this Flavius Josephus. What an interesting name. Flavius Josephus. What is your name? Flavius Josephus. What? Come again? Flavius Josephus. Someone is like, God, bless you, bless you. Are you sneezing? No, no. Flavius Josephus. Interesting. Thank you, Cryptolee, for sharing that. Rainbow Shangri-La will catch up on a few live streams over the weekend. Probably you're gonna hear Diva Don't Play saying, "Give me the truth, give me the truth," yelling of the top of his lungs, "Give me the truth, give me something better." Viking Lloyd, the crucifixion is a soap opera, just drama. Caesar invented the sun calendar. I see a lot of drama with Jesus, the story of Jesus and the crucifixion. Yes, definitely lots of drama. You can turn very easily into a drama mama. For anybody, if you have not noticed yet, in the background of the live stream, there's a USA flag celebrating United States Independence Day tomorrow. I put it like in the background right there. It's there. Rainbow Shangri-La, Flava, Flav. Flava Flucefus. What is your name? Flavius Flucefus. Forget it. I'll call you F. Too complicated. How you doing, F? Viking Lloyd. In those days, they called Caesar God. What? I never heard of that before. Rainbow Shangri-La. Little Caesar's Pizza. I really like pizza. I really like the Hawaiian pizza from Papa John's. Papa Juan. Papa John's. Yes, I like Hawaiian pizza. Ham with pineapple. That's my favorite. Cryptoly, he wrote he saw armies in the clouds. Man, Cryptoly, maybe he was smoking a little something. Let's go dash. $49.99 a week to cure depression. All you need is that brain implant. Dragon Caraxin, my brain doesn't like implants. You know, I don't know. I was thinking about pizza. Let's go dash Adonai. Won't be anyone's choice. It'll be COVID vaccine, but stricter. Fake alien invasion, new world disease. Oh, that's another thing that I sometimes think about, doing a live stream about the COVID vaccine. I made a video about Dr. Fauci. It was not a live stream at that time. I'm surprised that Mr. Fauci is not in jail and is not even being investigated. I'm absolutely amazed. But maybe that's a topic for a different live stream. Verse 98. There are many gods, but only one God of creation. Verse 98. Are you talking about Chulum? Chulum, the creator of the universe? In the God of the Bible is in problems. More and more people are asking, who is this Chulum that you're saying that is the creator of the universe? I'm like, man, because Chulum is the creator of the universe. Viking Lloyd, there is a difference between God and the creator. Verse 98, Mr. Fauci is part of the elite group. You don't touch them. That is weird, man, that nobody can touch the guy, not even for investigation. I gotta make a video about that. I made a video explaining when most people didn't know that there was a laboratory that researched coronavirus a few miles away from the supposed wet market in Wuhan. People are like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, and that laboratory was being given money by some company in the USA that was giving money, receiving money by Dr. Fauci. Probably, I don't know. I'm surprised that he's still not even investigated. Rainbow Shangri-La, I did not get the vaccine. With all my health issues, the side effects weren't worth it. Rainbow, probably you wouldn't be here. I don't know. I'm so glad that you didn't get the experimental drug injected into your veins. Me neither. Lots of pressure, even from family to get vaccinated. I'm like, nope, not me or my children. No, no, thank you. Versailles 98, LOL, Clear Waters, no. Viking Lloyd, the creator created creation, set it in motion and died when the planets gave birth to the gods. There was a word of the gods. Pan, god of the Pangea or earth, became the last of the gods, the one god. Man, talking about soap operas. Rainbow writes, I have autoimmune issues, though, so I have to be careful about getting sick anyway, so I just take the same precautions. You know, Rainbow, I don't know, hopefully you got the diagnostic properly. I sometimes try to be careful with doctors. Some doctors are the most ignorant people on the earth. They just know how to receive instructions on how to prescribe prescriptions, medicines, without really understanding the person or doing real evaluations of the person, and can come up with the craziest conclusions or diagnostics. Cryptolly, yes, and everyone has free will to choose one. Even not choosing one gets to claim you. A problem with free will. Here's Jesus giving you free will. I think that picture is hilarious. I know that AI sometimes creates, horrible images or not very good images, but some of the images are funny, man. I think this one is hilarious. Rainbow writes, my daddy got all the vaccines and still I lost him to the COVID. So it's hard for me to believe the vaccines are good. Yeah, Rainbow, I agree. It seems to me, in my opinion, that the vaccines never worked. They came out when the virus was what's that word, mutated from Delta to Omicron, and it was not lethal anymore. I got COVID and it was just a little bit painful on my back, and I couldn't smell anything like for 5 days, 4 or 5 days. That was it. Versailles 98. Them 5 scientists that dropped the file of the virus came out of Canada, North America. Versailles 98. I think it seems to me that the virus, some people are saying that came originally from America. Uh, uh, Canada, I don't remember hearing that. But I thought it was hilarious that people like Dr. Fauci were saying that most likely came from the wet market in Wuhan, knowing himself and keeping it quiet that a few miles away was a coronavirus laboratory that did research on coronaviruses. Rainbow Shangri-La. I'm proud of you, Javier. Thank you so much, Rainbow Shangri-La. And I'm proud of you too. Keep yourself healthy, keep yourself chin up, and take care of the dog and the cats. Lucky you. Have a dog and cats. And that would be wonderful. Rainbow writes, stand up for what you believe is best for you and your loved ones. Yeah, those were tough times. I, for a little bit, thought about it. But then when I heard that the creator of the mRNA technology was being quiet, like, shut up, I was like, man, that's it. I know this is corruption. This is a business. We're not taking anything. Say 98 crypto, there's only two places you can go in the end. You can go up or down. Cryptoli, I got the vaccine, but further understanding governmental implementation to the masses, I'm now against it. I heard from a doctor saying that they are starting to understand how to get the spike protein out of the body via doing fasting or intermittent fasting. Let's go. There's vaccines were claimed to be 97% effective, and we know that was a complete lie from the infection rate not changing and vaccines recipients being infected. Fauci and another doctor legally gave corona data to the Wuhan lab. It's being uncovered in 2021 or 22, no arrests. Dragon Karaxi, during corona time, you were not allowed to cough in public. Yeah, every time, people would hear someone coughing, everybody start running. Running for your life, man. Kobe was a fear campaign. I remember killer bees 2 or 3 weeks in all over the news to freak people out. All right, 12 more minutes. Rainbow writes, doctors here, they just want to prescribe more and more. I take so many meds every day. It's insane. Wow, Rainbow, yes. I don't know. I remember you told me you were by yourself. I don't know if you have any more family members, but I think it would be a good idea. I remember my mom. My mom is like, I think she's almost 80 years old. And she was constantly telling me about her pains and, suffering and her nose and her head. And she was feeling constantly tired, I'm like, Mom, let me see what you're taking. Give me the list of pills that you're taking so I can do a little research. What are you taking for that nose? It's every time she's like, with a runny nose and sneezing. Just by doing a little research, I find out that my mom was taking high blood pressure medicine when her pressure was way too low. So of course, the medicine that she was taking to lower her pressure was causing her to have dangerous low blood pressure and always feeling tired and dizzy because I guess she was not getting the proper oxygen to her brain. So I didn't tell her to stop taking it. I think she little by little started to take it away and she started to feel better. I also, to the point that my mom hasn't taken her medicine for pressure like for a year or so, and she feels way better. Also, the medicine for the nose, I'm like, Mom, what are you taking? And she gave me the name of the medicine that she was taking. I'm like, man, I think because she started bleeding from her nose. So I find out that the medicine that she was taking was not good for what she was suffering from her nose. So I recommended for that to stop it immediately because it was causing bleeding. Once she stopped the medicine, the bleeding stopped. And I told my mom, I think it would be a good idea if you go to a different, I think it's called otorhinolaryngologist or something like that, and gave it some other, stuff for her nose, and she got better. So yeah, I think definitely we gotta be careful with doctors. You gotta double check, do some investigation. Try not to give yourself medicine. Don't go the other way, opposite. But definitely ask questions and investigate a little more, and don't just put your life on someone else's hands that probably are not interested in you or don't care. Escodes, Javier, I thought you were in your 30s. You see, Escodes, that's why I really like you. Oh, man, I'm heading for my 60s, man. And I don't recognize myself. I lose way too much weight. I'm gaining my weight back little by little. I took that carnivore diet way too seriously for almost a year, and I dropped all my weight and lost a lot of muscle from my body. It made me too weak. I had to stop. Almost a year, I think more than a year. Oh man, I really enjoy those steaks, but I'm like, man, I don't feel good eating steak, but I don't anymore for now. Dragon Caraxi, maybe 40s, but 50s, something never. Right now, specifically, I'm 54. Let's go this. Yeah, here in 54, I was thinking Javier has great genes. Guy looks good for 54. Man, Escodesh, I have like 5 different filters, like 11 white lights. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No filters. It's just lights. But thank you. You're so kind, Escodesh. Thank you so much, Dragon. You guys are very kind. Oh, what? 7 more minutes and we're going to be done with this live stream. Rainbow Shangri-La. Gosh, I'm only 45 and I take a daily prescribed nasal spray and 6 high blood pressure meds a day. What in the world? Are you serious, Rainbow? Wow. Well, I'm not 45 till August, but yeah. Rainbow, continue writings. Well, Javier, I would guess you are younger than me by a couple of years at least. Oh, Rainbow, that's very kind of you. Oh, I'm 54. Wow, you're taking a lot of medication. Why? Wow. You must be having a lot of side effects, Rainbow, because those medications, they always have something that causes some side effect. Crypto Lee, don't worry, clear waters. I'm 47, but feel and look 65. Oh man. No, I don't believe you now. You are 47 and look 47. Escodesh, right? My friends would say black don't crack, but Panamanian refresh. Rainbow, exercise 1 hour a day, cardio 5 days a week, and deregulate your blood pressure. I don't know. I don't know about that. Has to be done carefully. Rainbow Shangri-La writes, I have very severe hypertension, but the meds are an issue too. I had so many delayed surgery dates due to high blood pressure. Why, Rainbow? I don't know. Consider sometime calling in on a live stream, or if you want, also call outside of a live stream, just to have a conversation about this. I don't know if you get to talk to someone else about this topic, but I would wonder why you have blood pressure so high. You know how many doctors, Rainbow, have told me, Javier, what are you doing drinking water with salt? That's gonna cause you a high, your blood pressure to increase. You're gonna destroy your kidneys. I'm like, man, I've been drinking water with salt for the past 16 years. I don't have high blood pressure, and my kidneys are perfectly fine. I think most doctors are ignorant about this stuff about good hydration. I have found out that any doctor that talks to you about salt and they don't ever mention water, they have no idea what they're talking about. You can never speak to someone about salt without talking to them about water consumption also. And the same goes the opposite. You cannot talk to someone about drinking water without asking them, how much salt are you taking in your diet? You can kill someone by just drinking water. Crypto Lee, I saw your picture, man. Behind that beard, you look very young. You have the big beard. I cannot leave me with my beard. My beard is not very good. Yours looks good. You look good to me, man. You look young enough. You look your age. So maybe just move around a little bit. You look good and you look healthy. And you are healthy, right? Most important. Rainbow Shangri-La writes, I have fibromyalgia and can only do exercise in water, but I'm also on a weight loss journey with hopefully continuing to help. Rainbow Shangri-La, were you like this in your younger years? Or something started to trigger this? Were you like this as a child? Or this was something that developed over the years? If you don't mind my asking, you don't have to answer, okay? Escodes writes, sea salt is not iodized salt. Escodes, what I do is my water, I drink it just sea salt without, not being ionized. But the salt that I use for cooking, yes, is iodized. Escodes, love you, Javier. Need to get ready for bed, brother. Have an amazing night. You too, Escodes. Thank you for stopping by, man, and continue the good job, man. I'm watching you on the videos. All right, 1 more minute and we're out of here. Escodes, iodized salt is bad. Leach the body. Sea salt is good for us. Ash, that's something that's why I don't take the iodized salt completely from my diet, because I don't take anything else that is iodized. So for water, natural salt. For cooking, iodized salt. All right, just gonna read the last messages before we shut down. Rainbow Shangri-La. Whoa, I also have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I have always been disabled since birth, but I have gotten worse over the years, starting about 20 years ago. It seems I have new diagnosis and illness every year. Wow. Crypto Lee, I was clean shaved in November last year. God touched me, now looked. All right, all right. Rainbow Shangri-La, have an awesome and safe weekend, everyone. Stay safe and have some fun. Thank you so much, Rainbow Shangri-La. I would like to know a little bit more about these things that you're going through, if you don't mind, sometime. And Crypto Lee writes, Rainbow research on YouTube, biblical food that heals you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for being on the live stream. Have a great night and awesome weekend. See you on Monday with another interesting topic.